Aizawa is finally coming to My Hero Ultra Rumble. Recently, the My Hero Ultra Rumble Twitter account just released a few snippets of what his moveset is going to be. And while this was leaked before, I definitely didn't want to talk about it because, well, I'm not exactly a big fan of leaks. But also, I wanted to showcase exactly what I wanted to note when I saw more information. And I'm glad that I did, because that more information is key to showing exactly how Aizawa plays. With that being said, let's get on to seeing what his first ability is going to be. Seems like they start out with his special action, which to be fair is one of the main gimmicks of his character, Erasure. Staring an opponent down with their quirk skill, using Erasure to basically get rid of their quirks. Now when I first saw this, I thought it meant just their beta and like gamma quirks. No, their alpha, beta, and gamma quirks are shut down for at least, let's see here. That's 3. About 6 seconds. That is more than enough time for a character to get gunned down by people in this game. Especially with how fast health bars melt with people like Bakugo, Deku, Todoroki in this game. Shigaraki. It's insane how fucking long 6 seconds of Erasure is. 6 seconds of you not being able to shoot is kind of crazy. And makes me think this is going to be one of the best support characters in this fucking game. Like, anyone with Aizawa on their team is going to be so absolutely caught with fucking support that it's going to be no problem that they can't even heal. And technically, Aizawa's going to be a technical character, so they can use healing cards too, so they can just heal themselves. That being said, you're probably thinking, well, with a power like that, he's probably not exactly damage oriented. And that's where you might be wrong. Aizawa's quirk skill level alpha is the binding cloth capture, which sends a cloth to restrain the opponent. This is the regular shot in the game, and this is the thing they are going to use to go over and be super annoying with you know, being far away. Now that being said, them being able to grab you is a little insane, especially how this game works. If you don't know, there are certain combos you can do with certain characters. Characters like Deku, for instance, can do 2 like physical hits, then use their grapple to drag you in, and then do 2 more physical hits. And that would be really interesting to see them do. And another thing they have is the Spider-Man kick type thing, which is something that they could do in the air. Now, their ground and air shot, you obviously see it is different. Aizawa pulls himself over to the opponent in the air and pulls his opponent towards him on the ground. This is going to lead to very different combo routes, whether you're on the ground or in the air, which is something we don't see very often, aside from just, like, you know, starting with, like, a jumping attack or maybe a quirk in the game so far. But with that being said, the way that Aizawa, as a Ochako man, the way that Aizawa works feels like in the air how Ochako works, where you zip to your opponent, you hit them, and then you use your quirk moves to hit them as well. But they also have that ability on the ground, which is insane to me. Because of one quirk we're going to see later is going to work so well with this one on the ground. I don't know if it works the same in the air, but if it does, it can be really big if you're able to like chain them. And a little later on in this footage, we see that he's not only limited to that, he's also able to go in the air as well and bounce around. Meaning he's going to have movement somewhat similar to Froppy and Ochako in how he's able to just bounce around with his cloth and just kind of zip to new areas. Now, with that being said, this also shows one more thing. He has 3 shots at least of this cloth. Which means he may be able to do this 3 times in a row. And I think that would be so interesting if he's able to do that. I don't know because I think the quality, the quality isn't good enough for me to tell, but I don't know if that's I think that's a hard knockdown that they're in, so they may not be able to do it 3 times. But if they can, or if there's like an ability to do so, that would be so insane to see him grapple on one opponent, and then grapple again, and then grapple again like Ida can. That would be such big damage for Aizawa, whose main thing has been stunning people, and shit, it's really good. But you do have to have something to take advantage of that Binding Claw, which is where one of his quirks come in a little later. I think that's Serpent. Yeah, Binding Claw Serpent. But let's talk about Barrage first. This move is a series of kicks in a straight line. Now, for those of you who don't know, this is the armored move in My Hero 1 Justice 2. And basically, it's another movement option where if you have no more shots, you could just kick over there. So imagine, if you will, you see the capture, right? You go over here, you go to the capture, you're climbing up, you see this, right? You go down on the ground, go into the air, you can't move anymore, you change your direction, and then you can kick over that way, or just above you for even more height. This guy's basically Deku's kick and Ochako's whip for his shots, and that means he's gonna have such good movement, which is great for this meta of like movement that we have in the game. So Aizawa, I think, is just gonna be very strong. But again, as I said before, I'm not as concerned about the movement because we already have his alpha shot, and we already have his support with the special action. We need something that takes advantage of that long range, and the thing that allows him to drag you inward, and that's exactly what his Gamma skill is able to do. Here's the good stuff. Binding Claw Serpent. An area attack that manipulates countless binding claws like whips and can damage multiple enemies at once. This move looks at an area and says, "Fuck you," to it. Not only that, but in that area, it hits you multiple times. That is so insane. The range he's able to do isn't the greatest, but you know where it is? Up close to him. You know what one of his main abilities are? To drag you towards him. Imagine for me, if you will, you go over here, you see Aizawa. Aizawa hits you with 2 physical attacks maybe, and then grabs you with his like binding cloth. He's able to go ahead on the ground, he grabs you, he drags you in, right here, right in that little orb area, and then he then not only grabs you in to it, he then goes for his Gamma quirk, where he just does that as a combo finisher. What an insane combo finisher for that. I think this is a very interesting one because we didn't have an exact character like this yet. We did have Ochako, who was able to go towards the opponent and hit them and then get out. You have Froppy, who's able to go towards the opponent and then hide. This one has Aizawa, where Aizawa isn't going towards the opponent, he's dragging the opponent towards him. This can be so good, and I think that Shouta is just going to be a great support. Not only because of the fact that his thing will literally displace enemies so easily, like you're literally moving the enemy. This is straight up displacement. Like, this isn't like cover or area denial. This is like the first displacement character in the game. Maybe next to Cementos. Mental can technically use displacement. But he not only does that, he also does a ton of damage and a lot of movement. Meaning he's able to go into crazy areas, take an impactful character out of a fight, and then proceed to hit them and have them deal with Aizawa, while your other two teammates deal with the less impactful characters, then come towards you to help you out. Because remember, this is a team game. Aizawa's not the only one here. He may not be the strongest character on a roster or something like that, but he's able to do the thing there. And if he's overpowered too much, he has a special action. He can just stop you from fucking shooting at him. He can stop you from shooting at him with his fucking Sharingan eyes. Thank you, buffering. Thank you, buffering Twitter. You're so good. Aizawa is going to be so strong. Honestly, he's going to be super strong, and I am so excited to see this character come to the game. He is the character I am curious for. What do you guys think? Do you think Aizawa is going to be strong? Do you think Aizawa is going to be weak? Do you think there's going to be certain counters to Aizawa's abilities that his special action is going to be basically 100% needed for? And who do you think are going to be like the best targets for him in this game? Let me know in your thoughts in your comments below. And until next time, I will be seeing y'all later.